Colin here, and I'm back with some more stuff. Records, books, and an antique. First off, I'm going to show this Sonic Youth. I used to have this on a cassette, but Morty, but I never had the album. So when I seen the album for $12 down at the Love Garden, I picked it up. And Sonic Youth has been around for quite some time. They got a whole bunch of records, and I've never really listened to their whole catalog. But I used to have this tape, and I really liked it. So it's my first Sonic Youth LP. And next we have Mungo Jerry. Now I seen this, and I kind of think about it for a minute. I was like, Mungo Jerry. And then I looked at the back, and maybe it wasn't the back, the front. Summertime. It says in the summertime, and I had to think, what is that song? And then I remembered the beat, the few words I know. I just remember, in the summertime, the weather is hot, I think. Diddle 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 dee. That's my singing skills there for you. Mungo Jerry. Here we have Eric Burdon, the Eric Burdon Band, Stop. Now, I don't have this. I like Eric Burdon and the Animals, and his solo stuff's alright too. Now, it's shaped like a stop sign. And I noticed that kind of back in the day that they kind of came out with some crazy shapes and things for their records. The ones I could think of was it the Rolling Stones? I think it was their Greatest Hits Volume 2. Was kind of shaped like an octagon. And I can't remember anymore. If you can come up with some other albums that came in crazy shapes for back then, let me know. That could be a one of these Vine videos that people do. You know, show some records with some crazy shapes, or maybe it had a pop-up picture, or 3D front, or lenticular thingy, or something. And next we have the Outsiders, album 2. I have album 1. And I was looking at this closer, and I noticed it is a mono record, so that's kind of cool. I hope you can hear me over the heat coming on. Because I noticed this, this is a newer laptop that I got recently. And Morty just spilled my drink down here. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff going on in this video. Luckily, my magazine has a plastic wrap on it. Now, what was I talking about? You know, I done up and forgot. What was I talking? Oh, the Outsiders record. And then I went into something else. And I don't remember. So I'm just going to move on to the next thing. We have the Beatles cassettes, volume part 1 and part 2. One of them is still sealed. And I think originally these came in it had a cardboard slipcover over both of them. And somebody just listened to volume 1 and didn't listen to volume 2. Oh, nope, I have that backwards. They listened to volume 2 and didn't listen to volume 1. It's all sealed up. And my cat is going crazy. He seems to do that whenever I do these videos. All the attention is off of him now. He wants all of the attention. I can't make videos anymore because of my cat. Okay. Next, I have some books. Some more books. You know, I have a ton of these Pulp Fiction books, and I didn't show any in the last video, so I thought I'd throw some in here. Here we have Go Honey Lou. And she's scantily clad there. And it says, Pete thought he had it made. A cool $5,000 plus expenses just to deliver Uncle Pierce Bonwell's bright-eyed and bursting niece, Honey Lou, to her Aunt Cindy in one piece. But Pete learned the hard way that Uncle Pierce wasn't giving money away. The cost of kidnapping and murder runs pretty high. Honey Lou is trouble. I think I had a couple Honey Lou's in my life over the years. And this is exactly Pulp Fiction, but it's called Tawny. And if you see this very interesting cover, she's in her skivvies on top of a table. I don't know if she's dancing or just maybe they're playing strip poker. I have no idea, but she's on the top of the table in her skivvies. And flirting with temptation, laughing her way through dangerous escapades in artist studios, love nests, she lived a glamorous life indeed. A storybook life could only be called tawny. Tawny's the tawny, I guess. And next, I was in the antique mall, and I seen this book there, and it's called the Kierkegaard Anthology. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Now, I recognize that name, but I never read any of his books. But this is kind of a compilation of bits and pieces of some of his books. And I just kind of looked at it, and I opened it up. And I opened it up to page 57, and I have it marked here. I opened it up to page 57. I just thought I would read something out of it when I was in the store. I'm like, okay, who's this Kierkegaard? As a woman, she hates me. As an intelligent woman, she fears me. As having a good mind, she loves me. Now for the first time I have produced this conflict in her soul. My pride, my defiance, my cold ridicule, my heartless irony, all tempt her, not as if she might wish to love me. No, there is certainly not a trace of such feeling in her, least of all toward me. She would emulate me. What tempts her is a proud independence in the face of man, a freedom like that of the Arabs of the desert. My laughter and singularity neutralize every erotic impulse. She is fairly at ease with me, and insofar as there is any reserve, it is more intellectual than feminine. She is so far from regarding me as a lover that our relation to each other is that of two able minds. She takes my hand, presses it a little, laughs, pays some attention to me in a purely platonic sense. Then, when irony and ridicule have duped her long enough, I shall follow that suggestion found in an old verse. The knight spreads out his cape so blue, and begs the beautiful maiden to sit therein. There are. I read that, and I'm like, I might actually enjoy some of this. That's very well, brought a lot of things to mind. And that's an excerpt from either slash or, no idea what, it must be one of his thingies, I suppose. And it just has a bunch of excerpts from this guy's books. And it's going to be a good read, it looks like. I really enjoyed that, so that's why I picked this at $4. And that got my attention. And next we have, I never read any of this guy's books either. It's a paperback, The Sea Wolf, Jack London. I hate to keep reading everything, but led by Wolf Larsen, its satanic brutal captain, the Ghost sailed the North Pacific on a nightmare hunt for seals. The Ghost must be a ship. With iron fists and terrifying violence, the Sea Wolf ruled his crew of brawling outcasts and battled the ocean's mightiest storms. To castaway Humphrey Van Weyden, rescued and shanghaied by the Ghost, the powerful courage and will of Wolf Larsen was almost incredible. Of one thing Van Weyden was sure: in this shipboard struggle between good and evil, only one of them would live to see the end of the Ghost's fateful voyage. So the guy was shanghaied. I guess he was knocked in the head at the bar or on the street or somewhere, and they took him on some kind of, made him basically work on their ship, sort of as a, almost like slavery, I would think, when you forcing somebody to work for you. But that's what I get out of Shanghai. And that sounds like an interesting read. Next we have a few magazines, and I will be done with this video, and I will show you an antique at the end. I'll have to cut to it. Now I found this, The Beatles, Life magazine, September 13th, 1968. What's crazy about this is September 13th is my birthday. So I was exactly 2 years old when this came out in 1968. Well, maybe not exactly. I don't know what day and month and all that they used to come out on. The days and the lives of the Beatles. They call it their authentic biography. Thought that was cool. Had to get it. And next, an interesting subject that's still going on to this day is Life magazine, marijuana. Ooh, he's got a blue paper. I wonder what that is. Anyway, at least 12 million Americans have now tried it. Are penalties too severe? Should it be legalized? Whew. That was a good hit, man. And next, here we have the day. I was interesting to find this. The day the sky fell. A picture report of the Topeka tornado, June 8, 1966. That must have been in the newspaper back then, and that was this famous 66 tornado that was in Topeka. And I was still in my mom's belly at the time that this happened. And we lived in this big brick building in Topeka. It was like a building built probably it had to be somewhere in the 20s or 40s because it's really old. And I remember in the basement there was this giant boiler made out of cast iron, and that heated the whole building. It was crazy. And but in '66 I was in my mom's belly, and they lived in that old building. And I remember her telling me they all went down to the basement, and there were these little windows. You know, the windows are set up high, little square windows like in basements. And they looked out, and all they could see was stuff flying by, like trash cans and trash. And I don't know about people and trees and cars and spaceships, cows. The whole number was going by. I think my Uncle Babe went by with his paint buckets and his rollers, and maybe his lawnmower. He went by. He used to live in the attic, and he was the maintenance man. But anyway, that was a '66 tornado, and we moved out of that building. They moved out when I was a baby, and years later, when I was in junior high and high school, we moved back, and in the same building, in the same apartment building, and I had a lot of good memories there, but bad ones too. And it was still the same old building. Everything ran by duct tape and some baling wire. I don't know, bail me out wire. Anyway, that was a good thing. And lastly, I'm going to show you guys an old phonograph at the end for my antique section of this, and I'm going to be playing this Edison Ambarola record. It's a tube-shaped record that came out way back in the late 18 to early 1900s and somewhere in that vicinity. And I'm going to share that, and I hope you enjoy that. Colin, over and out, and Weirdos Unite. Okay, I'm just going to play a little bit of this. This is an Edison 1913 Ambarola player. And when I first got this, it was off speed. So I had to look up how to set the speed, and all I did was take this cover off here, and there's a screw underneath that sets how fast and slow your cylinder will play. And also this little horn piece here needed to be oiled because it was getting stuck halfway through the song. So we'll just play a little bit of this for you, and this will be my antique part of this video. Here we go. Up. We're not far enough. There we go.
Way down in Carolina where the sweet potatoes grow, there lives a dusty maiden by the name of Liza Snow. She used to go to parties where they'd always make a scene. But say you want to see that baby do the pigeon wing. They held a dancing contest and were going to have a prize. They all had on the finest and it now was up to lies. Just who was going to win it, everybody there could feel. When Liza hollered to the band to play the chicken reel. Clear the crowd away, tell the band to play. When you hear me say, go my honey, oh you chicken reel, how you make me feel. Say it's really so entrancing, who could ever keep from dapping? Dap, the music's sweet like the chicken meat. Give it to me with the dressing. I don't need no dancing lessons, put all the other fine selections right away. That is the only tune I want to hear you play. When I get married, if this music I will say, hey boss, keep a playing chicken reel all day. Keep a playing chicken reel all day.
Okay, that's that.
One night went from a
Sorry for the shaky camera here. I don't have a tripod at the moment that will go on my cell phone. Plus, I forgot to turn the volume down on my TV, so I was fooling around trying to mute that with the remote, and I couldn't find it. And well, here you go, the Edison Ambarola 1913. And I believe that song was called The Chicken Reel.